which is super weird to me that it all almost seems like it was leading to me living in my car and embarking on this adventure that I've always wanted to. Welcome back to your Joyage. I'm Cade, your guide. I'll be replacing the little voice inside your head for now, giving you a break from the constant internal monologue that is the human mind. I want to say thank you for listening or viewing on whichever platform you're on. If you have not hit that subscribe button and dropped a like on this video, please do so now so other people can find the voyage. Also, we are on TikTok and Instagram with the podcast highlights. Go follow at Joyage Clips. If you don't have time for the full podcast, you just want to get the inside scoop, what the episode's about, I totally understand. Joyage Clips on TikTok and Instagram. So I don't know if you've been able to pick up on the last podcast or two, but the last couple of podcasts, I haven't been able to fully figure out what I'm doing. For some reason, I start talking and I hit 3 sentences and I just stop talking and I don't have anything else to say. It's like I'm trying to go through bullet points like a YouTube video, but I kind of forgot that the podcast is for me and I make the podcast so I can listen to it later, so I can record my thoughts and it's like a sort of journaling for me, kind of. And as a secondary thing, I upload it so that other people can find the voyage, as I say in my thing. And it's true, I do want to help as many people as I can with this, but first it's for me. First, it is my way of getting my thoughts out. And I guess the last few podcasts I kind of forgot about that and tried to tailor them all to an audience, when that's not really the goal here. The goal is me first, and through that I can help my audience, not the other way around. It's not how it works for me. So maybe that's an internal little wall that I've been putting up, because for some reason, I literally get 3 sentences in and I just run out of stuff to say, and I'm like, what now? So we'll just recap my last week. So I got my wisdom teeth taken out. Nothing happened. It was super strange. No swelling, really no pain. Nothing to report, no funny videos, no nothing, whatever. So we just skipped over the wisdom teeth. I pretty much can't eat anything. I've been eating soup, Jello. I've eaten coffee, eggs, scrambled, runny eggs with avocado. That's about it. Really, really nothing. So I've kind of lost, I probably lost 5 pounds. But what I really want to talk about today was the feeling I've been having the last couple weeks about life in general, and especially about, if you've been keeping up with my other YouTube channel, Cade Bergman, I'm moving into a Prius at some point in the future, and then maybe some point even further in the future, I will get a van or some type of other vehicle. But I'm starting to think maybe the hybrid is the way to go, because I've been researching a ton. And the hybrid battery is a power generator in itself, so I won't have to buy another one. I never will run out of power unless I ran out of gas, which is pretty unlikely, especially with these hybrid cars. But the Prius specifically, because it gets 50 miles per gallon, and it's like an engine. It's amazing. It's perfect for road traveling or road tripping. And I was starting to get caught up in this whole thing where it's once I have this, then I can move into the car. Once I have this thing, then I can move forward. And that's a good mentality to have, sort of, specifically with this topic, because it's going to be my home at some point. And so I got to have all my shit together before I do it. Obviously I need to have some sort of safe bolted into the car. Otherwise I can't leave anything in the car, because if I get robbed or it gets broken into, I'm screwed. And the same way, I need to have tinted windows. I need to have just certain things, because I can't do it without those certain things. But what I'm forgetting is there are other things that are not necessities, and for those things I can get those at any point, and obviously it would be better in the same way that I have a Sony a7 III and I have a Sony a6400, both of which are phenomenal cameras. But I want the Sony a7S III because it has the flip out screen and it's one of the newest cameras, and so I want to save it for that. And part of me is really annoyed, because I'm dude, I got 2 perfectly great cameras. The only problem is I wish I could merge the 2 together, which is what the a7S III is. Problem is it costs $4,000, and even if I sold both my cameras, it would only equate to half that, which blows. But I just want to talk about talk to myself really about the things I bought in the last video, it's all like Amazon stuff, like pretty much all under $100 total. And it was stuff like a trash can, a little pea cup, like things that are important, but not like full on necessity. These are things that I need to order as I'm going so I can figure out if I really need them. The only things I think that I really, really need is one, a safe that's bolted into the car, the tinted windows, and I need to fix that little electrical socket thing. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. It's like the little cigarette burner thing, but that's also like an electrical output, and I need that to be fixed because it's broken. The two outlets are broken in the front of my car, and that would be really nice. And then I also need a power inverter, which is what allows me to use the hybrid battery, the massive battery in the car that the car runs on, basically, so I can use that power to, charge my shit. And after that, dude, I think I'm good. So once I have those things, I'm hoping to get those in the next month or so. I'm really, really trying to live out of the car because the past few days I've been having an itch to live in that car, to sleep in that car, and I haven't because I don't have tinted windows, so I feel super not safe. I also really, really want to create these little like blackout like window cover things. That way when I'm sleeping, no one can just peer inside. And the tint will also help with that. But I need those like 4 things basically. And once I get that, I'm really pumped because then I can really start to practice and really start to kind of go off on my own again. And recently, again, I've been feeling, I feel like I keep saying this on my podcast, but the feeling's not going to go away until I move out. But it's the same feeling of like, I just want to be alone. Like it's like an intrinsic feeling to just crave the idea or the embodiment of truly being alone. Like I really want to just look around and be like in the woods somewhere completely by myself, just nature surrounding me. For some reason I'm just craving that so bad, and I'm like walking my dog today, and I stopped a couple times, and we were like, it was nighttime, so there's no one really around, but I was, there are cars, there's houses, there's lights, and I just want to get out so bad. And we walked past this like no trespassing sign and got onto the train tracks and started walking. And I had this like super intense, like dramatic music on, and I was like visualizing to myself as if I was in a movie, like running away from like my life or something like that. And I was sitting there, I was like, jogging along the train tracks with my dog, and I was like, wow, what if I just kept running and just never stopped and just kept going? Like, it's a possibility. Like, anyone could just do that. You could just start running and never, like Forrest Gump, just pull a Forrest Gump and just start running and never come back ever again. And I thought that was so weird, but as I was doing it, I was really visualizing. Like, after I did that part, I visualized like an actual thing that I could do, something I will do, which is really just getting in my car one day and saying peace out and just dipping for real. I cannot wait for that because that'll come at the end of the summer. Hopefully, once I've made a substantial amount of money at Loggerheads, I'm hoping I make $15,000 to $25,000 or something. That's just the absolute max, probably $25,000. I don't think I could make more than that, but that would be insane if I made that much money. And after that, I'm gonna live on my own for a little bit. I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to see if I can pull it off without a job. But if a remote job pulls up, if I get an opportunity to do a remote job, I'm going to take it. But if I don't, those first few months, I'm not really going to stress it. I want to live off what I make just for a little bit to see if something else pops up. Maybe YouTube picks up. Maybe I get a sponsorship here and there, like whatever it is. I just want to see. And so I've kind of visualized and I've lived it in my head a couple times now where I really just get in the car and leave. And kind of manifesting the emotion tied with that and the feeling that's tied with that, the feeling of freedom and the release. I've manifested that probably over 100 times in the last month or so. Like, I'm really starting to get into this manifesting thing because I have nothing else to do. Like, I'm literally sitting around, especially the last few days with the wisdom teeth. I've just been, I can't do anything. My dentist was like, yeah, you need to really chill for the first couple days and, let your tooth set in and let your mouth recover and all that stuff. So the last 2 days, I pretty much researched all day. And then yesterday, I made my video. But yeah, I pretty much did that. And I'm super into the visualization thing, and I'm all in on that, dude. I mean, it's real. If you visualize not just the visual part, but you feel that emotion tied to it, and it becomes that much more real. And then, as I said in a couple of my other podcasts and a couple of my other vlogs, when that time comes where I live out, that manifestation, whether it's a small one or a big one, it's that much more powerful and it's that much more real now, because it's like I set a checkbox, and once I go and live it, I check it off, and I'm like, wow, that was insane. It was exactly what it was supposed to be. And I'm praying to God that happens when I leave, because something that scares me more than anything right now is finally attaining that goal, leaving, and then a week later, it not being what I thought it was, it not fulfilling that hole that I think it will. I don't know. I have no idea. And I don't know if it's one of those things that feels internal, but maybe it's not an internal thing, or maybe external. I don't know. I'm really just kind of worried that it's not going to fill that hole. And I want to just get it out now, because, there's gurus all over. There's gurus online. There's gurus in who write books, and they're all saying sort of the same thing, but they're all saying sort of different things too. And I worry sometimes that I just take in too much information and, I don't know, get sold on some idea or some dream or philosophy, and it not turning out to be as fulfilling as I think it's going to be. And God, I hope that's not real, because I try and follow people who preach the same kind of message, which is just do what you love, get good at what you love because you love it. And then you just keep doing that, and it's just a cycle. And when you're not thinking because you love it, it's like when you're doing, when you get in a flow, like you're not thinking about you being in the flow because you're in the flow. And imagine being in a flow your whole life and loving every second of your life, and you never need to take a step back to reevaluate because it's perfect, because you're doing everything you would have wanted, and anything you could ponder over, you're already doing it. So there's no reason to ponder it. And that's like what I'm chasing. And I don't know if that's the right way to look at it, because is it something you chase, or is it something that just happens and 20 years later you realize, oh my God, I just did it. I have no idea, but I'm praying to God it isn't some 1 week trial and then I'm right back to feeling like shit again. I don't think it will be, because the sole act of living alone for me, I think, is all I'm really looking for. I don't really want a person who's like holding me accountable. I don't do well with that, and just me living with anyone is sort of an accountability, and it's just annoying to me right now in this stage of my life. And I know that's probably impermanent, something just to do with me being 23 or 22. So I know some things are just, they're not permanent. They're just me being 22 and me wanting this adventure. It's cool. I'll watch these videos of like Prius campers or van lifers, and they're like, so you want to pursue a life of adventure, and they're talking to like a really broad audience, because a lot of people want to do it, and I guess a lot of people just don't, because they are scared of the risk that is involved with just going and not having any type of blueprint. And it's weird, because what I was saying earlier about how you could just start running and never come back, what if you really did that? What if you got in your car or your van and you just went left and you just kept going, and then you find a trail, you go that way, you find this cool campsite, you live there for a little bit, and you just live the nomad life. And I'm like, that would be so strange, because I've always my whole life been on like a path to go somewhere, to get something, to achieve something. And imagine living a nomadic life where there's no real end goal other than to just do stuff. I'm like, is that a path in itself? What is that like? That path is scary. That path is really nerve-wracking to me to think about, because it goes against the way I was raised and everything I do. Like, everything I do is to push for something. And even the thought of just like going just because, and then not really having a step two, like everything's a step one. step one this way, step one this way, step one this way, step one this way. There's never like step two, but technically you're building each time because you're experiencing, you're learning. And so maybe that's what life becomes if you're like a nomadic person who lives on the road. I have no idea where I'm going. Something I'm kind of putting a few eggs in the basket of is documenting this whole trip. I'm so excited that I have something to document now. And I remember talking about this on a couple really early podcasts and a couple of really, really early YouTube videos about not quite having anything to film. Other than the fact that I liked making videos, I was like, shit, I don't bodybuild, I don't do soccer, I don't do this, I don't do that. What am I supposed to film about I don't do anything other than like work and I don't know, like just what do I film? There's nothing interesting about it. And going off of that, something that's weird and like kind of funny is that this whole like van life thing that I'm embarking on, I did it almost in reverse. Like a year ago, over a year ago now, I started growing my hair out because I don't know why, I just did. And now I have a man bun, like a full-on man bun. And that is kind of like, you know, associated with van life. I started not working out as much. I started doing less bodybuilding because I wanted to achieve a more natural, you know, I don't know, thinner surf-like type of body, which is just also associated with van life. And these are things that happened before I even had an idea of wanting to live in my car. And I started getting into photography, into videography, long before I thought about living in a car. And these are things that typically people need to get into after they decide to get into like a van life or into living in their car because they realize, hey, I got to document this. But I already did all that like in reverse order, which is super weird to me that it all almost seems like it was leading to me living in my car and embarking on this adventure that I've always wanted to. The show Lost, I don't know if you watched this show because it's old. My parents loved it. That's the only reason I ended up watching it, but it is my all-time favorite show. It's not even, there is not a show that comes close. Every time I think about the music from that show, every time I think about episodes, you know, little snippets, dude, it is such an amazing show. If you ever get the chance to watch it, I don't know what channel or what streaming service is on now, but I think maybe Hulu. But please watch that show. It's got so many unbelievable little nuggets and lessons about life, and it's incredible. But anyway, the premise is, you know, they crash on an island. There's a bunch of like weird magical things about it, but the idea is that they got ripped out of their normal 9-to-5 life, and now they are having to survive. And then they get to the point where they're surviving decently, and so they need to thrive a little bit. They need to live. So they built like a golf course. They started doing things for fun, and they started, you know, drama starts to happen, but they had to kind of revert down to figure out who they really were. And I guess that's maybe what I'm craving in this whole embarking on my own journey, you know, learning about camping, living on my own. I want that so bad. And I almost want to be able to survive for a little bit, just learn how to survive again, or not even again, I never knew how, but like, you know, in this first world country of America, you don't need to know how to survive. For the most part, a lot of people are surviving just fine. They're just living is the problem, you know? And I want to learn how to survive. I need to like reverse engineer myself to figure out who I really am and what I'm made of and what I want in this life. Because I've talked to people who really just want a simple life. They're like, look, I just want some land, I want some food, and I want to live in the mountains. I'm like, dude, that sounds fucking awesome. I want that too. But do I? And most people aren't willing to take the jump and try it. I am, because I want that more than the 9-to-5. You know, I'm getting to a point where I'm getting pushed so far toward, you know, in quotes, adult life, 9-to-5, typical life. I'm so close to that point. I'm so close to that point. I'm literally 23. I graduated college. I'm supposed to be there already. And COVID sort of in a weird way hindered that from happening. And maybe that's a amazing thing for me, because it kind of gave me like a year to get good at video making, figure out all this stuff. Like, the amount of stuff that's happened this past year is revolutionary in my life specifically. I've learned so much about myself, and it's because of all these people are talking about. We've had so much time to ourselves. We've been forced to learn about ourselves. And before this quarantine, I definitely overthought. That was not a new thing, but man, I did not expect this to happen. I mean, so much time to yourself, and I crave it more now. And I've talked to many people who are maybe they're introverts or maybe they're introvert extroverts. I think I'm one of those where I can turn it on. I can become an extrovert. I can become that guy who's talking to everyone, but I don't really want to. And it's almost like a different version of me that comes out at work, where I become the social butterfly again, and I become carefree and fun. Then I also have a side of me that's very serious, that's very quiet. And I don't know what that is. I'm like, is that a different me? Is it the same me? Like, what is going on? But what I have found is I really enjoy just hanging out alone and making my videos and talking. When I'm making my videos, it's like I'm talking to myself, because I really am. And some of my videos recently, I guess, at least in certain parts of the video, I'll find myself struggling because, and I think from earlier in my podcast, I pinpointed it. I started making the video for other people when that's never the reason I started this YouTube channel. It's never the reason I started this podcast. It's always been for me first. And I will always say that. It's really true. But in turn, because I'm able to make it for myself, I know it can help other people because there are people like me. And so for me, that's the way I have to think about it when I'm making my video. I need to think as if I'm making this video for me, for it to be able to help you and for it to be able to become the product that is the YouTube video that, ultimately, is for you. But I make it for me, if that makes any sense. If you're an artist, you'll get that. If you're not, I don't know if I can help you understand that or not, but I need to make these videos for me. I need to make these podcasts for me. It won't work. It does not work unless I make it for me. So, if I thought about this earlier when I was walking, I was like, if there's ever a time where YouTube, I'd have to take like a step back from YouTube. I can't imagine that would happen. But if it does, I know the reason will be because I'm not making it for me anymore. The videos are starting to become about something else, and I need to take a step back and realign myself. I know that'll be the reason. If it happens, that'll be it. So, also another thing that's been on my mind is, how am I going to make my podcast happen in my car? Am I going to subscribe to some type of once a week, twice a week schedule? Probably not. I'm going to be totally honest, probably not. Because here's the problem. If I'm not in the woods somewhere, if I'm not in nature by myself and I can film it outside, which I will, then I have to be able to do it in my car. So what I think, which sucks because like with this podcast, like I love the aesthetic of it. I love my little thing in the background. I love the lights. That's all pretty much going to go because I won't be able to replicate that in the car. So I'm going to have to figure out a way around it. I don't know what that's going to look like yet. It's probably going to be some podcasts in the front seat, some in the back seat, some outside. I have no idea. I'm excited because I don't think there's a podcast like that. And so I think maybe these last few months or last couple months of me doing this has really been to prep and to just kind of get sort of good so that when the time comes where I start doing like my outdoor nature podcasts, I'll be decent at it. And if they start picking up, then dude, I'm in, But that's something I started thinking about. I have a quote of the day. I didn't forget it. It is by me because I just don't want to look up quotes. So I think of quotes sometimes. I write them down, and this is one of the ones I picked. It is, measure 8 times, cut thrice, measure again, cut again. And what I mean by that quote is research. Put in some fucking effort. I say it all the time, and I'll keep saying it. You need to put in some work, all right? You got to research. You got to actively figure out what the fuck you're doing before you do something. If you want to do it efficiently, you can probably figure it out without doing much research on it. You'll probably be fine, to be honest, but why not just do a little bit of research and figure out what's a better solution for this? So what I say is measure 8 times, think about it, manifest it, talk to people who have done it, and then try a couple times. And then reevaluate, talk to some other people, do some more research, figure out some other things, make it more efficient, and then cut again. And then you just keep repeating until you get to a point where you're happy. And this quote for me also talks about money for me in the future, because what I'm worried about is this whole goal, or it's more like people who are really wealthy, like Warren Buffett. Why the fuck are you still investing? Like, what are you doing? You have $100 billion. Why are you investing? Why are you even worried about it? At what point do you just stop trying to become more and just be? And that's kind of where the quote cuts off, because I don't know. I'm hoping to get to a point where I have enough money where I'm like, dude, I am set no matter what. I can just really not focus on what's up and coming because I'm set. And I hope at that point I can make that distinction and just do that. Because really there's no point. I remember I read something one time and it was at a certain level of money, it was either like 70 or 90K. Like once you're making that much money a year, anything over that isn't really worth the mental struggle of getting more money. And so at that point, you may as well just chill about money and just live the rest of your life and do other things and worry about other things, because it's not worth the headache that it comes with. And I'm really, really hoping for myself. And this podcast is dedicated to myself because I need this. My last 2 YouTube videos, I haven't felt it. My last podcast, I didn't feel it. In the last 2 weeks or so, I haven't been feeling it. So this is for me. This quote is for me. This episode is for me. This week is for me. I needed this so much. Cade, future you, at some point, you're going to need to just chill and take that moment, look around. You probably have all the things you set out for. So once you have some of those things, be grateful. Even if you need to keep achieving more, I get it. But be grateful. And be proud of what you did. Be proud that you got to where you set out to go. And enjoy that. Even if it's for a day, even if it's for an hour, just enjoy it. Remember that that's why you started doing this. Because you want a different type of life. And there's no end goal here. It's just a way of living. And just remember that. Because right now, we're headed to a 9-to-5 future. And I'm not doing that. So if you're not doing a 9-to-5, turning into a robot, doing all the things you don't want to do, then guess what? You made it. And enjoy that. I didn't mean to get that kind of deep. I didn't mean to close my eyes like that, but it just felt like it was necessary. I have no idea where that came from. Actually, you know what? While we're on that topic of wanting more and always going for more, at what point does the world catch on to this kind of thing? NFTs, Clubhouse. I saw some tweet about some new crypto thing. Like, how are we supposed to keep up with all this? At what point do we just say, bro, I can't, like, there was a new thing last week. I just learned about that. How is there another thing already? I don't care about NFTs. All right, I get it. I get why they're huge, but I also think that, and I've seen this on many people's platforms, I've also seen the opposite idea. Like, NFTs is this rich person's game of just spending money and blowing money. And it's also this thing of just, like, flipping stuff. But the thing is, like, is the demand there? And I know Gary Vee, who's someone I love, he's saying, he's like, dude, NFTs are the next thing. And he's called it before, and I have no doubt he's probably right. But, like, is it for everyone? Just because NFTs are big, just because a lot of people are going to be in on it and going to want it, are you really missing out? Are you? In the same way, if you don't have an Instagram, are you missing out on anything? Probably not. If you don't care about virtual art, if you happen to find one that you like and you go, maybe if someday we have like a virtual house, I'd like to have this in my house, go buy that, dude. Just even if it's $1 or $100, like whatever, think of it as if it's a real painting. Don't think of it as an investment. If you don't understand and you don't care about that world, you don't have to. And in the same way with all the new trading things, Clubhouse, I was super excited to get on it, but like, I don't really have that much value for it unless I have a reason to start going live on certain things. I just can't keep up with, I have YouTube, I have TikTok, I have all the apps. I'm like, at what point are they just going to make another thing like Clubhouse, and then I have to keep up with that, and I got to post. There's going to be like 30. There's already 5 that I post on. Like, I post YouTube videos. I have my TikTok highlights. I have my Instagram. I post clips on Twitter, on LinkedIn too. Like, I can't just upload to everything. Like, I don't care enough like that, you know? At some point, I just have to rely on, like, the main guys who are, like, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok right now. Those are the big ones. So those are the ones I focus on. Clubhouse is big, but it's, like, it's one of those things I'm like, dude, is it worth it? Like, do I really have the, can I really spread myself that thin? And I don't know. Like, a few weeks ago, I was talking about Clubhouse, like, oh, I want to get on. I want to talk every day. But it's like, bro, fuck, you know? I don't know. That's just for some food for thought. But that's really all I have to talk about today. Man, that was a good little episode there. That felt good. That was a big dub for me. And now that I got my, my fix, this is for you. This is my PSA for anybody struggling. You know I do this every episode. You know I say that every episode too. If you're struggling, if you are unsure of what's going on in your future, if you're worried that stuff's not going your way, you're worried you're behind in life, I'm here to say you will probably never not feel that. You might one day. If you do, then that's dope, but don't hold your breath. Just remember that we are all feeling that shit. If you feel like you are an imposter, you feel like you don't deserve the things, you feel like you're going to get caught one day, someone's going to jump out and say, "Ha, I got you. I knew you didn't know what you were doing." Guess what? I feel that too. So many people feel that. That's one thing I've picked up after so many videos and TikToks, is that we are all basically the same DNA. We all just have different shit that we've experienced, but we are all insecure in our own ways. Don't think for a second that you're the only person who is unsure of yourself. You're not. You have this. I have this. I'm making moves. Make those moves too. We can do them together. If you want to DM me, go ahead. I don't have a ton of followers, so I will see your DM. I hope you have a wonderful day. Keep going, dude. There is never going to be that feeling where you're like, I did it. That does not exist. So don't fight for that. That honestly kind of sucks now that I think about it. The things that you're chasing are the things that need to be fixed internally, and things that you can do to help with that are things like reading, are things like going on walks, are things like positively talking to yourself. And these are things that come and go. For me, I'm really good some weeks and I'm really bad some weeks. And that's kind of frustrating. That's really frustrating sometimes, because I feel like I'm on the ball sometimes and I feel like I'm doing really, really well. And then a week will go by and I'll say, holy shit, I'm right back where I started. But it's okay. That's just life, The amount of stuff that's happened in 1 year compounded on 40, 60. I have so many years left. You have so many years left too. Life's not going to get any faster. It's not going to get any slower. I know people say it does, but when you're in the moment, it feels slow. And then when you look retrospectively, it feels fast. So that's not going to change, dude. So play the long game. Remember that life is very long and you have time. If there's one thing you can take, you have time. And if that's one thing I can take from this, I have time. I have plenty of fucking time. I have so much time. I'm 23. I'm 22 years old. I have a stupid amount of time. And if you're listening to this, the chances are you're probably around my age. If you're not, then even if you're like 50, dude, you still got plenty of years. You're good. You're all set. You're doing fine. Actually, you know what? That's my new PSA. If you feel like you're not doing fine, if you're feeling like you suck, you're feeling like you're behind in life, you're feeling like, imposter syndrome to the max, you're doing fine. Close your eyes. You are doing fine. You are okay. You will get through this. You will get through this. You are okay. You are okay. I hope you have a great day. Joyage Clips on Instagram, on TikTok. Go follow those. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next time. Peace.